All right, everybody, welcome back to Get in the Garage.
We're the music podcast.
For music lovers.
As you can see, we've got Alex here joining us back in front of the camera because we're talking about a very exciting album this week. Jeffrey, would you like to...
This is a viewer request, as we talked about earlier. Lots of comments to review this album. The album is called Norman fucking Rockwell by Lana Del Rey. It's her 6th studio album, released August of 2019, produced primarily by Lana Del Rey and Jack Antonoff. It is 14 tracks. It is 1 hour and 8 minutes long. It is, in my opinion, a very, very, very strong record. We reviewed her latest,
Under Ocean Boulevard,
and I believe we all gave that album 8 5s and 9s. In my opinion, this is in the same kind of vicinity. Very strong record. What do you guys think about it? Luke? Tell us some of your thoughts. I believe this was like a new listen for the three of us, and this is an old favorite of Alex's.
Yeah, so I started off my Lana Del Rey listening with There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard when we reviewed that a couple weeks ago. Was strongly recommended to check this record out, and I did before we were going to review it, and here we are. So I think that this is a building to what she has currently released. It's very much seems like a love letter in some way to California and everything that California has to do with her personally. I like that because a lot of you get like a lot of records that are like California and it's kind of, that is what it is. But this seemed like very personal and like location and specific event based to her life and the way she like wrote the songs based around it. I was really, really here for it. I have to say, I think I'm a bigger fan overall of There's a Tunnel. But this was a very great listen and let me kind of lead into where that album is and where it came from. So, like, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I thought the same kind of thing. I definitely think that Ocean Boulevard is sort of the thing, like Luke had alluded to it the other day. You know, it's like your first love, and that was kind of my first love was that record and my introduction to Lana Del Rey. And there is this sort of sentimentality to it. That being said, I've thoroughly enjoyed this record. Like Luke was saying too, you know, it's kind of like a love letter to California, but it's also kind of there's a lot of this rising and falling. There's this narrative that not only has to do with her relationship with California, but also a relationship in her personal life, in her love life as well. There's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs, there's some hope in here, but there's also some heartbreak in here. There's a lot of like, I'm done with this. And, it kind of goes a little bit all over the place, and lots of great shout outs to other bands and songs and all kinds of cool stuff like that. I think she really shows how fantastic of not only a songwriter she is, but also just like a lyricist as well. And yeah, fantastic record. I love this release. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't the first time listening to it. I had a few friends that were really into Lana Del Rey, and I kind of listened to it with them. So a lot of the songs I've heard before on repeat. Yeah. So I'll get to the point with that. A lot of the songs were relatively long. You know, it is another over hour-long album for her, and it is considered probably one of the best albums by Lana Del Rey from a lot of people, and I would pretty much agree with that. There is a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard was a really good album in my opinion. I didn't get to review that with you guys. To kind of give it a quick off the top score, I would have given that one probably an 8 for myself. I thought it was a strong album by her, but not my favorite ultimately. This is actually my favorite album by her. I get lost in the sauce with a lot of the songs. Venice Bitch, although it's 9 minutes, I could listen to that one on repeat.
So good.
That's the one, I think.
Yeah, like honestly, if I was going to pick a song, it's either that one or Doin' Time, which Doin' Time is the most popular song on the album. It's the most streamed song, I believe, by Lana Del Rey of like an independent album that wasn't like a single release. So yeah, I really, really love this album, and I give her a lot of credit. Like you said, Mike, just such a good lyricist. Her analogies, her storytelling, you feel like you're just in that her headspace while she's telling these stories. You're just there with her, and you can relate. And there's not like a lot of pull to bring you in. You're just there. So yeah. I give her a lot of credit.
Yep.
Jeff, what about you?
This is a highly acclaimed album as well, coming out in summer of 2019 the following year, the most recent version of the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, it placed on that list. It was, I believe, number 321. So not even like a full year after its release, it was considered to be in the upper echelon of music that's been released in the last 60, 70 years. I had given this a cursory listen when it came out because every new Lana Del Rey release, I would try and be like, maybe I'll get into it this time. But it was always a little too sleepy, a little too dreamy, a little too, I don't want to say warbly because that has like a bad connotation, but just that like chanteuse type of melodramatic thing for me. But this is catching me at a time where I think my ears have matured a little bit. I'm a little bit more open-minded than I was a handful of years ago. I wrote down my notes for this album, 14 tracks, and like I bold things I think are great. I star things I think are excellent. And it's like, besides 3 songs, the entire album's in bold for me. And the couple songs that aren't bolded that I think are the weakest of the bunch are more of like, personally, it was like track 12 and 13, Bartender and Happiness is a Butterfly. It was just 2 piano style things back to back. So I was like, but on their own, those are very strong songs. Like Bartender, I think, is a very like poetic Father John Misty type of bar ballad thing. Happiness is a Butterfly, I think, has very strong doubled vocals. The highlights of this album for me, Venice Bitch, a beautiful melody with increasingly dense production. It's like a 9-minute track, and it never gets boring for me. It's like
never gives out.
It's kind of like a folky prog epic type of song. I really enjoyed Cinnamon Girl, which has like these sticks and drum rim type of rhythms, has these like synthy mellotron type of flourishes, has like a cool bass drop in the second half of the song with the type of like modern hip hop production thing for the end. The Next Best American Record I really enjoyed, which has that kind of demo acoustic guitar type of quality in the beginning, has a lot of heavy reverb on the pre-chorus, and then it comes into that, again, that modern like hip-hoppy type of production thing. I think that the production choices on this album are very strong, very interesting, very mature, and like it's not stock stuff. It's not like I'm trying to get on the radio in any way. This is like a real artist statement. I always thought she was just riding a wave of like, I'm the hot thing right now that all the music magazines are writing about. But it's like, this music it holds up. I think this is very strong music, and like including the one cover, Doing Time, the Sublime cover, which is really a flip on the Gershwin standard Summertime. Like, I think it's cool to have a cover in here too. Just an extremely strong record. Like I greatly enjoyed this record.
I want to shout to something like Jeff said. This is why I kind of avoided Lana Del Rey a lot too, because I thought it was kind of just like the it girl thing. Yeah. But even the response to that on this record, Mariner's Apartment Complex.
Love that song.
Right, so where good. She says the opening line, "You took my sadness out of context," in the Mariner Apartment Complex is, I didn't know, but fans told me when I looked up the lyrics to the song in the comment section that The Guardian had interviewed her on her first album release in the Mariner Apartment Complex, and they took her sadness out of context, where she said the now infamous line, I wish I was dead already, which too, like, there's one thing to talk about death in an artistic way, and there's one way to not even understand what she's saying in that sense, but Mariner's Apartment Complex is a beautiful takedown of, actually, I've been your Venice bitch, I've been this girl the whole time, I've been me this entire time, and you haven't understood it yet, so I'm going to give it to you again in this song, and then the following track, Venice Bitch, I'm going to give you 10 minutes of me, like me, and that's where I was like, yup, she's not the it girl. She's telling you, I'll tell you how much I'm not that girl. I'll write you an hour-long album, and it's just, that's, for me, it was that statement when like I figured out what that song was about. I was like, oh, that's very powerful songwriting and a retort back to a critic in its own way. I was like, very, very well written and well done. And to the fact where I didn't know that was a retort back to a critic until I had to do some deep diving and digging. So very much like, okay, very interesting. I really liked that.
Yeah, I think the imagery is fantastic too. Like even in the song Cinnamon Girl, where the colors of the pills to keep her at arm's length from the person that she's talking about in relation to like, oh, well, you're taking red, blue, purple, blah blah blah. She's rattling off the colors, so it's like it's that really immersive sort of experience in that way. Even songs like we were talking about Bartender and Happiness is a Butterfly. Even in Bartender, she makes this great Crosby, Stills, Nash reference, and she's talking about the Laurel Canyon girls, and like they're dressed in black for this, and they're dressed in white for that. And there's a great line in that where she's like talking about like, I bought a truck in the middle of the night and I'm driving around, and then Happiness is a Butterfly comes on and she references Bartender by saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take the truck out to Sunset." You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's that attention to detail that I think really shows how thoughtful and well thought out all of these lyrics are, and how it really is, in fact, a great storytelling, man. Because it's all there for me too. How to Disappear I thought was a great song, because that's kind of like a song that's in 6, so it's got like this R&B feel, but it's sort of this kind of clashing of worlds because it's in 6, which is kind of a classic R&B sort of feel, right, to a song, but it also has like the synthy bass and the synthy drums, and it's kind of like this electronic thing too. So it's like these two worlds that kind of smash together to create such an interesting.
I like that song. I like that song too, because like the way you're saying that, like the mix of the worlds. I like that song lyrically because she took like 3 men in her life, and then how they are playing out in her life in that way. And so it was like a mix of that too.
Yeah, and that's got that cool synthy outro on it too, tagged on the band.
I really like that. It was like, you're right, it was a mix, and like how all the guys are mixing in her life in like what they are to her in that moment. So I thought that was really cool, man.
Yeah, it's so good, man. It's such a killer record.
Yeah, and it's interesting you guys really appreciated Bartender. That was one of the songs a lot of people didn't like off the album.
Oh, I love the stutter.
It is. I really do like the song as well, but it's the least listened to song by far on the album, which really surprised me, because on first listen through, when I listened to Bartender, I was like, oh, that's one I like a lot. And then I look, and I was reviewing the track list, getting ready for today to talk about it, and I was like, whoa, okay, people really don't like this song. So that took me by surprise. I want to touch on some high points I had too. Like you guys said, Cinnamon Girl, so good. It felt sweet, like as she was implying in the title as well. It's just like it hits for me. One of my favorite songs is Love Song, which is a little bit more spoken wordy about the identity, finding love.
Love the party dress.
Yeah.
The melody right there.
Yeah.
Just like cuts me every time she gets to that part.
Yeah, it's just straight emotion ocean for me. And then title track itself.
Yeah. It
just starts out and you're just in it. It has so much
mission
tension.
Statement.
Yeah, there's so much tension. There's so much character behind what she's saying in that song, and I listened to that song on my second playthrough again, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it for me.
Talk about opening lines to like end all opening lines, like
Oh yeah.
Which she's like, you fucked me so good, I almost said I love you.
Yeah.
Which is like, woo!
Yeah.
Coming out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like she's coming out of the gate. She's like, this is
Strong.
that. Also, let's talk to Norman fucking Rockwell. Like, what does that mean in this day and age? I know that phrase has been used in my life, like growing up, like, oh, this is just Norman fucking Rockwell, like we're the American family. And it was always said in a sarcastic jest because we clearly were not. And I think that this record, she is kind of stating that she is Norman Rockwell, and this is what it looks like in its current form.
What the reality of it actually is, right?
And I think it's not really being said with like that much like jest in like, this is I'm Norman fucking Rock. I think she's like, this is what this is now.
Yeah,
especially too because this was written during the Trump era. All that crazy Trump news was going on. Everybody was kind of losing their marbles with the news every day. So she was, I think, implying that this is normal life now. This is what it is and how it feels and what it sounds like. So I thought that was a really the whole statement, that whole song and the way she starts it. Very, very good.
Yeah, it is a very like Voice of a Generation type of approach, because like our generation is a generation that like pretty much came of age when it was a huge recession, and came like adolescence till kind of now, like fighting a different type of weird war in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have very strained politics now. Everything is hard right or hard left. social media, how it's influenced everybody's brain chemistry and everybody's social interactions with each other in real life and online. It's a very strange world now because it's like everyone paints the picture of the perfect American life and like chasing the fame and the money and the cars and like sunshine in California. But it's like, this is a dark, depressed, pill-taking type of generation that we live in. And I think this music accurately portrays that. I think this is a very strong record statement. I think the opening and the closing of this album are like perfect bookends of like these ballads that say so much. They're mission statements. They summarize the last track. Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have, but I have it, is another like crippling type of anti-love, etc. type of song. I thought I was like, nah, Lana Del Rey is never gonna do it for me. But this album, like, this thing is.
Yeah, I think I can confidently say for all of us that didn't really, Alex, we know, Alex has always been a fan. I'm a Lana Del Rey fan now.
Oh,
100%. Like, I'm a Lana Del Rey fan now.
That.
Oh, yeah, I think the
absolutely.
I'll have to go back. I know the early stuff. I never did it for me. The like Cherry Cola or whatever the songs are from like Ultraviolence and stuff like that. But maybe this is like from this album on is like the new thing. You know,
I think this is where, for me, like it did pick up because this album was the first time I had listened to Lana Del Rey with some friends.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is interesting. It wasn't my necessarily like cup of tea at the time when I was really listening to music. But it did pick up. It grew on me. I listened to it more and more, and like I said, this is my favorite.
Now, so a sidebar, we didn't talk about these records, but this was 2019. She put out 2 in 2021, which is Chemtrails Over the Country Club and Blue Banisters, I think is what it's called. Are you familiar with either of those? Because she put out 2 in 1 year, like Pandemic, like.
Yeah, I listened to Chemtrails Over the Country Club more, but the other one it hasn't hit for me. I haven't listened to that one a lot. Yeah. But Chemtrails Over the Country Club is like probably like number 3 in the ranking for me with her.
Yeah.
Right
on. Well,
great suggestion from our listeners.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because going back, it gave context to more of the stuff that we've been doing anyway, and it's just another artist that really has a great, catalog that we haven't explored yet. So good for the shout out. Thank you for the suggestion.
We got some ratings for this. I went back. There's an ocean or whatever it's called. There's a tunnel under ocean. I think I gave that 8.5.
It's just a hole.
This for me is it's a strong 9. I want to say it's like maybe even close to a 9.5. I'm gonna say a 9. This thing is really great. Really, really, really excellent album.
Yeah. Alex?
I can go next. I think it's I've said it 3 times now, and I'll say it again. Favorite album by her. I think with just a couple of tunes dropped or maybe mixed together and finding maybe some more common ground between some songs and like interluding them somehow, I think it would be a little bit stronger, but I'll go with Jeff, a 9. It's just strong. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I gave.
I don't remember.
9s. I believe you both gave 9s.
We gave 9s? All right.
So
that being said then, that I gave that one a 9, I'm going to go 8.5 on this one because there's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. It just has my heart, man. It hits every button that I like. It was like the timing of myself, listening to it and all that stuff. It just checked every box for me. But this album is amazing too. 8.5, 9. It could go either way. But for me, for the sake of tonight, I'm going to go 8.5.
I will split Mike's difference. I will go 8.7 because I love Tunnel a little more.
Pitchfork.
That's right. And also, before we leave, I want to shout out that guitar solo on The Greatest by Jack
Antonoff.
Right?
Yeah,
one of the best moments on the record.
George Harrison style.
Yeah,
so good.
I was like, I'm going to look up. I was like, I heard it. I'm like, who's playing that solo? And I looked up. I was like, oh, Jack Antonoff. I was like, good for you, man. I was like, that's a great solo. Great producer on this record. Really like bringing in like stuff like that where that's like the only really great like Venice Bitch has some like guitar stuff on it, but that's a guitar solo. So really, really cool. I like that. 8.7.
And
guys,
a shout out on the song California, 2 minutes and 40 seconds to 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Whatever the drums and keys do for that 15 seconds is like the highlight of the whole record for me.
Also, we didn't even say that song is like the whole reverse Joni Mitchell referencing the Rolling Stone in Vogue in her own California off of Blue. Love it. So Lana Del Rey.
2 thumbs up, man.
We
Yeah,
like. We
great
like.
album.
Thumbs up across the board.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you like this one more than There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? Which one? Which one is it? I feel like a lot of people in the comments on the last album were championing this one, NFR over the other one. But, I mean, they're both fantastic records. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Do you want us to do another Lana Del Rey? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Which one should we do next? You guys let us know. Which Lana Del Rey record should we do next? You will decide what we do. Before we sign off, again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so every time we upload a video, it lets you know when Get in the Garage drops an episode.
Tell a painter.
And tell a painter. Until next time, guys, we'll see you next week.